Yo, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another Keelgottime video, and today, because Keel's got some time, we're going to be reacting to They Can't Stand This by Exo Speaks. No more talk needs to be done. Let's get straight into it. Lego. Marga shames couple for race mixing. Wow. Wow, okay. This is what we're doing.
It was illegal up until 2002. You're going to give up 50,000 years of evolution if you mix up with this dude.
Are you filming us?
Yes.
This video isn't about telling anyone who they should date or marry. It's about a specific reaction that keeps showing up from white men when white women decide to marry or date black men. The anger alone isn't the point. It's the language that comes with it. Words like contaminated, ruined, single mother, keep the bloodline clean, you know, things that you've heard before. That language doesn't come from nowhere, and it tells you exactly why this reaction happens. One of the easiest ways that people try to shut this conversation down is by calling it a preference. They'll say everyone has preferences, everybody's allowed to like who they like, and that should be the end of it. But preference does not explain what we're seeing. Preference doesn't come with rage. Preference doesn't come with slurs. Preference doesn't involve talking about preference. They'll say everyone.
When you're at Home Depot and see the local overweight mud shark. Jesus! Mud shark. Wow. That I ain't heard that one. I can't even bro. I ain't heard that one. I ain't heard that one still. Mud shark. That's outrageous work. Outrageous work.
Everyone has preferences, everybody's allowed to like who they like, and that should be the end of it. But preference does not explain what we're seeing. Preference doesn't come with rage. Preference doesn't come with slurs. Preference doesn't involve talking about bloodlines or contamination. And preference doesn't look like obsessing over strangers' activity.
I've come for your pickle.
You're making this comment because I have a boyfriend of a different race. This is what you're willing to die on the hill for.
You betrayed your own race. Nothing you do, nothing you say or do hold any weight now. Wow, is that deep? Nothing she says or does will hold any weight. That's really what people be thinking.
A random stranger on the internet. They say love thy neighbor as thyself, and if this were me, I would say get a job, a hobby.
For real.
There are a lot of interracial relationships, especially involving black men, that are surrounded by fetishization. A lot of the time, black men aren't treated as human beings. We're treated like a fantasy or a sex object instead of regular people. I've already made a video breaking down fetishization, so I'm not going to go too deep into that here because that's not the focus of this video. But at the same time, there are also plenty of interracial relationships where black men are shown genuine love and are treated like the human beings that we are. So when people go out of their way to harass this girl, mock her, and call her things like mud shark, that's wrong, bro. Especially when you don't know the ins and outs of their relationship. When a white man gets angry about a white woman dating or marrying a black man, that reaction isn't about who he wants to date. It's about who he thinks she's supposed to be with. And that difference matters. That reaction isn't quiet, it isn't passive, and it isn't personal taste. It's enforcement. It's the feeling that something happened that wasn't supposed to happen. And once you see that, it's clear that this isn't about romance at all. It's about control. To understand this reaction, you have to look at how some white men think about this world and their place in it. A lot of white men were raised in environments where whiteness stayed together by default. They grew up seeing white families, white neighborhoods, white social circles, white expectations. Nobody ever had to say it out loud. It just felt normal. And over time, that turns into an unspoken belief that certain lines are not meant to be crossed. Not because anyone sat down and thought it through, but because that's how it's always looked for them. In that mindset, white women aren't always seen as fully separate individuals making their own independent choices. They're seen as part of the group, something that's expected to stay within those same lines and barriers. So when a white woman...
Okay, well, that was just disgusting. First of all, I don't know what that one was. Yeah, nasty. On TikTok, crazy behavior. But I also think it's like, what he's saying is true. Like, there was raised to just be, you know, stay within your race. As I feel every race was pretty much. I low-key feel like every race was pretty much raised in a way that's like, you know, you stay within your race type of thing. But obviously interracial relationships are a thing. And I feel like as the older generations fizzle out, like our generation, we don't care about that shit. You think we really, like, you think if a white guy is walking in town and sees a black guy with a white girl, and they're around my age, 20s, early 20s, teenagers, but they do not care. Wait, what? Most of them anyway. I feel like most of us, we're not pressed on it at all, so it's just going to become more prominent thing. You're just going to see more interracial relationships happen. Yeah.
chooses a black man, the reaction isn't, "That's not my preference." They read it as her stepping out of line. And that's why the anger shows up. Because
Also, sorry, it may seem like I'm struggling to get my words out. I am just tired. I'm just very tired. My bad.
control is being challenged, not over the woman as a person, but over the boundary itself. The idea that whiteness stays contained, familiar, and unchanged. And when that idea falls apart, some white men feel like something's being taken from them, even though nothing belonged to them in the first place. This is where the language people use exposes everything. When white men say a white woman is contaminated or ruined by being with a black man, they're not talking about love, compatibility, or values. They're talking about worth. And that language only makes sense if you believe that blackness lowers value, that it stains, that it permanently changes someone in a negative way. And that belief doesn't come from dating culture. It comes from racial hierarchy. You don't talk about human beings like objects unless you already see race as something that can be spoiled or tainted. And you don't frame black men as contamination unless you've already convinced yourself that blackness is something that's bad. Even when people try to laugh it off later or claim that they didn't mean it literally, we already know the truth.
Yes, all the time. I think I'm contaminated.
Contaminated?
Yeah,
Why do you guys say that? Wait, what happened?
because I've been with black guys, so like they just think I'm contaminated.
And how do you feel? Do you think they're insecure?
Yeah, they get very insecure because they know that like they obviously have like, you know, don't.
What the hell? Have you ever been with insecure white guys that got insecure with you dating black guys?
Yeah, they get insecure sometimes because black guys, like, their size is usually bigger and they're just, like, overall better. Their hair
Oh my gosh. Oh my fucking gosh, bro. Bro, white women, I'm trying to write it out for y'all right now, bro. You're making it really you're making it really hard for like someone to stand up for you right now. Bro, all y'all talk about is dick. That's all y'all talk about. Oh my gosh. You don't want to talk about no emotions, being like, you know, more emotionally available, like from your dating experience, you know, like how have they been, and like, you know, taking care of things, making sure you're good. How are they with communication? Like, nah, it's just dick. It's just dick. Gosh. I was gonna say that contaminated thing is wild though. Saying that someone's contaminated. I see. They said they don't want to like contaminate their race. Bro, I always saw it as like, not that I would forcibly have an interracial relationship, because you know, I fall in love with who I fall in love with. If it's a black girl, my personal preference is dark skins personally. But if I fall in love with a black girl, meet a black girl, cool. If it's a different race woman, cool, no issue with that. But I always used to see it as a instead of contaminating, bro, race creation, bro. All the different races mixed. What can you make? You get me? Since we're all human. I know it sounds bad. Well, actually, the way I worded that sounds like I'm some evil scientist. Hold up. Y'all get the point, though.
Everything.
And what do you have to say to those white guys?
What I'd say is get bigger, get more confident, and you want us to compete with me.
Do you think race mixing should be illegal?
Should it be legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Oh, no. No.
Why not?
I love my chocolate, man.
So you're a mud shark.
Oh, what?
You're a mud shark?
A mud
What's it? Why not? Why? Why not?
shark is crazy.
Yeah, mud shark is wild.
You said you like chocolate men.
Okay.
So you're a mud shark. Why should race mixing be legal if the child is more likely to turn out?
That's a statistic.
Yes.
From what source?
Me looking around.
Those words come out easily.
It can't be serious. Me looking around? Bro, what?
Shark is crazy. No.
You said you like chocolate men.
Okay.
So you're a mud shark. Why should race mixing be legal if the child is more likely to turn out?
That's a statistic.
Yes.
From what source?
Me looking around.
Those words come out easily because the
Yeah,
idea is
wild,
already
bro.
there. This is not accidental language. It's inherited thinking. To them, there's no room for change, no room for context, and it's no room for individual differences. Once somebody's labeled ruined, that's it. And that kind of thinking only works when people stop seeing others as individuals and start seeing them as symbols that either hold or lose value. And that's why this language shows up so consistently. It's not about the specific relationship. It's about reinforcing an old belief that crossing racial lines should come with some sort of consequences behind it. Saying someone is contaminated isn't about describing reality. It's about warning others what would happen if you step outside of the boundary that they have in their head. Another part of this reaction that barely gets talked about honestly is fear. Not fear of danger, but fear of comparison. For a long time, black men were kept out of certain social competition. And it wasn't subtle. It was enforced through law, violence, and stigma, especially when it came to proximity to whiteness. But when those barriers weaken, comparison becomes unavoidable. And you gotta understand, comparison is uncomfortable for people that were never taught to deal with it, especially when their identity was built around being the default option instead of one option among many. So instead of processing that discomfort internally, it gets redirected towards us. Because anger feels easier than insecurity, and blame feels easier than adjustment. That's why this reaction usually comes from white men that don't know the woman, they don't know the man, and would never be affected by the relationship in any real way. The reaction isn't about them personally. It's about what the situation represents. It represents a world where assumptions don't guarantee outcomes anymore. What makes this even harder for some people to deal with is that comparison forces self-reflection. It raises questions they were never encouraged to ask, like whether status was earned or assumed, and whether confidence was built on ability or just never being challenged in the first place. For people who were taught to see themselves as the...
You know what? I'm really trying to... Sorry, I'm just trying to put this the other way around. Say I've seen a white guy with a black girl, and me as a black man. Nah, I wouldn't. Like what? I don't get like I don't get feeling a type of way. That doesn't make it doesn't. I wouldn't see that and have any thought towards it, you know. So is what he's saying is true? I'd need to talk to an actual, like, a white guy that actually thinks like this to, like, actually understand. Because is what he's saying true? Like, how they was just brought up a certain way, and now that the lines have been blurred between society, it's like they don't know how to adjust, I guess is what it's trying to come at. So they project whatever anger in that way. I don't know. What percentage of white males do you think actually feel this type of way? Out of all the white men, what percentage? I don't know. It can't be above 50%, surely, right? It can't be. Hopefully not. Hopefully.
Standard, being compared at all can feel like disrespect instead of something normal. And instead of sitting with that discomfort and adjusting to it, some white men try to shut down a comparison entirely. They attack the relationship, the people in it, or the idea of it existing at all. Not because it directly harms them, but because it reminds them that the world doesn't revolve around the same guarantees anymore. One of the most common things that you'll hear is this idea that if a white woman dates or marries a black man, she'll end up a single mother. What matters isn't whether or not single motherhood exists. It's how selectively that argument gets used. White men leave families. White men create unstable homes, and white men fail as partners and fathers every single day. But nobody turns that into a racial warning. The single motherhood talk only comes out when the man is black.
I don't care if they date black women.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world, I think. I mean, like, you definitely got to vet them out and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might not be, like, you don't want her to be a single mom and shit, but...
Hold up. Did you say compete? No. They can have you. We're good. As a member of the white delegation, I hereby sentence you to single motherhood.
Would you guys rather have a mud shark daughter or a wigger son? A mud shark daughter or a wigger son? So your son, a wigger son, is like a son that wears like Jordan 11, sags his pants.
No,
dresses
I don't
like
want him.
Yeah.
What's the other one, though?
Mud shark daughter, she only dates black guys.
Yeah, and he said, no, I don't want that, no. She's still trying to understand what's going on. Bro, this is lame. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Is he actually asking old white people this? This is lame.
No.
Which one?
See, oh, that. Is this like... This is another version of gay son of thought daughter, isn't it? Is this the white people version? This is the white people version of gay son of thought daughter. Oh my gosh. I can't, bro. This is so lame.
No, I'll keep myself before both.
So this isn't about concern. It's about
So
discouragement.
lame.
It's meant to scare her, shame her, and send a clear message. Step outside of these lines and there will be consequences. That's not advice. That's control pretending to be concerned. There's no room for individual behavior, no room for responsibility, and no room for real outcomes. The conclusion is already decided before anything even happens. And that kind of thinking doesn't come from real experience or facts. It comes from a story that people were taught and never question. If you say it enough times, it starts to sound like common sense to the people that are repeating it. They stop hearing it as an insult or a threat, and they start hearing it as truth. But when you step back and look how selectively it's applied, it's clear this narrative isn't about protecting anyone. It's about reinforcing boundaries and discouraging choices that challenge the racial order that they're trying to hold on to. When people start talking about bloodlines, that's when the mask really comes off. That language comes straight from racial purity thinking. The idea that whiteness is fragile and has to be protected. That mixing means loss and that change is a threat. And that way of thinking treats race like something you own, not something you are. It treats having kids like an obligation, not a choice. And that's why the reaction...
I can't lie though. I know quite a few black people that think the exact same way. I won't even lie. Let's not lie, y'all. We all do. We all know some people that's within our race that think this exact same way. It's in every race, I'm telling you. In every race, bro. I know, but I do not had the conversation. Like, everyone. It's the same on the black side. You think it's not only the white women getting this, it's the black men that go with the white women that are getting it too. But the amount of conversation I had, this guy's with a white guy, like, gonna have mixed babies, or just gonna end up with a white bloodline, blah blah blah. Bro, I done heard it all. I done heard it all. It's happening on all sides, trust me.
It hits hardest.
Oh, and Asian people. I love y'all Asian people, but you know y'all racist, bro. You know y'all racist, bro. Especially them older generation Asians. I love y'all. I love all races. I love everyone. We're all human, but wow. Wow.
When white women are involved. And that mindset, they're seen as carrying whiteness forward. So their relationships aren't treated as personal. They're treated as group decisions. So when a white woman chooses a black man, some white men feel like something was stolen, like something got tainted, as if something was taken from them. And it's not because of love, but it's because of control over the future. The internet didn't invent these ideas. It just gave them a mic. Social media platforms let resentment bounce around, get validated, and get louder. People feed off of each other's fears and tell themselves that they're protecting culture, when really they're just exposing their own insecurity. Stuff that would sound wild in real life starts to sound normal in those spaces. And because it gets dressed up as tradition or concern, people don't ever really own up to what it is that they're saying. What used to get whispered amongst themselves is now getting said out loud. This video is not about telling people what to do with their lives, and it's not about me trying to defend white women. It is not my personal stance on interracial dating. Personally, I date black women, but I don't get upset or angry with black people that date outside of their race. It has nothing to do with me, and my opinion on somebody else's relationship does not matter. All I'm doing is telling you why certain people respond with rage and obsession when a line they thought was set in stone gets crossed. And that reaction shows beliefs about ranking, ownership, and control never went away. They just stayed hidden until moments like this pulled them out. And until people are honest about that, they'll keep pretending this behavior is harmless, just a preference, or normal behavior. It's not. No.
Right. Yeah. I'll comment down below. Let me know what you think, man. I really want to hear some opinions on this. But with that being said, like and subscribe too. Go binge all the videos on the channel. Loads of videos, loads more to come. Videos dropping every single day, 5:15 UK time. So make sure you pull up tomorrow, because I'll see you then. And yeah, peace, love, and prosperity. I'm out.